Hello, Barendipitous here with another video for the Board Game Shelf, and this is, we didn't get this for Christmas, but Cobweb and I actually bought this ourselves because we've been wanting to get this game for a little while. What's kind of funny is that we got a family member did buy the print and play files for us for a gift years ago, but we had trouble printing it on like good cardstock. So after like a number of years, and that was like before COVID, I'm pretty sure. So it was a while ago. So we finally found this in a store along with a couple of expansions. We decided to just go ahead and get it. So basically, at least in the base game here, marrying Mr. Darcy, you are playing as one of the eligible female characters in Pride and Prejudice. And oh, nice! This is a this is a puzzle that Cobweb got for Christmas. I forgot that we put it in here. Anyway, that's not part of the game. Anyway, yeah. So you're playing as one of the eligible female characters in the from the novel Jane Austen novel Pride and Prejudice. You have Elizabeth Bennet, Georgiana Darcy, Lydia Bennet, Caroline Bingley, Jane Bennet, Kitty Bennet, Mary Bennet, and Charlotte Lucas. Right, and then of course there are all of the eligible bachelors. You have Mr. Darcy, Mr. Bingley, Colonel Fitzwilliam, Mr. Denny, Mr. Collins, Mr. Wickham, and there's the old maid option. Basically, at the beginning of the game, every person is going to be getting one of these heroines, and each of these heroines so you're trying to get the most points, and like most games, but each heroine has a different has a different hierarchy of points. For example, if you get Elizabeth Bennet, you of course get the most points, 15, if you end up marrying Mr. Darcy. You get 12 points if you marry Colonel Fitzwilliam, and so on and so forth, the lowest being Mr. Wickham at 5 points. However, if you're Georgiana Darcy, Georgiana cannot marry Mr. Darcy, of course, because she's his sister, but she gets 13 points from marrying Colonel Fitzwilliam, 11 points for marrying Mr. Wickham, and so on and so forth. Each of these, so each of these point values has to do with that particular character. If we move on to Mary Bennet, for example, she gets 12 points if she marries Mr. Collins, 10 with Mr. Darcy, 10 with Mr. Bingley, and so forth. Yeah, Charlotte gets 13 points if she marries Mr. Collins. Jane, of course, would want to marry Mr. Bingley. She gets 15 points there, and so on and so forth. Caroline Bingley, of course, she cannot marry Mr. Bingley. She gets 14 with Colonel Fitzwilliam, 13 with Mr. Darcy, and so on and so forth. Mr. Wickham tends to be the lowest for most people. So yeah, so that's kind of what you're aiming for. Everyone, and also each of these heroines has either some stat values that she starts with, or an ability that she gives you, basically. So if you have Elizabeth Bennet, she starts the game with 2 wit, that's the orange number, and a dowry of 1, that's the green hexagon there. Georgiana Darcy, however, she starts with a dowry of 4. She comes from a wealthy family, and also gets +1 to all proposal rolls. But some do not start with certain stats. Let's say we have, I guess they all start with some kind of stats of some degree, but some don't. Yeah, many don't have much of a dowry. Let's go. Here we go. Mary Bennet, a dowry of 1, always has her nose in a book or in someone else's business. Mary may take the top discarded character card instead of drawing from the deck. And anyway, lots of abilities there. So how does this game work exactly? So, oh yeah, this is one of the expansions I'll talk about. The 2 small expansions in a little bit. But essentially, apart from the heroine cards and the bachelor cards, there are basically 2 different kinds of cards. There are character cards. These are the ones that you want. These will build your character. They will generally give you, so this one, you've placed it in front of you, and this one gives you +1 friendliness. Friendliness is the yellow number. This one gives you +1 wit. This one gives you +1 beauty. That's the pink number. There are a bunch of fans in which you can play it for +1 cunning, or you can play it on somebody else and force them to discard a certain color of card in front of them, or any color. basically. So yeah, there's friendliness, wit, beauty. Dowry is a separate kind of a stat, and cunning is also a separate stat. That's this gray hexagon, basically. Oh, and also there's reputation. So friendliness, wit, beauty, and reputation are like the main character stats, and then cunning and dowry are a little bit different. So you're trying to build up all of these character stats because each of these bachelors has different prerequisites. For example, Mr. Darcy, he requires a wit of 5 or higher before he considers proposing. There is you basically go through this entire orange deck in the first, well, the size of the deck depends on the number of people, but you go through that deck, and various things happen. Cards are played, people can sabotage each other. Then after that phase is done, then the proposal phase starts. And so then each heroine looks to see which bachelors are going to consider proposing if they meet their prerequisites. Mr. Bingley considers proposing to anyone with a beauty of 5 or a friendliness of 5. Colonel Fitzwilliam, a dowry of 3 or higher, and either a friendly and a so dowry of 3 and a friendliness of 2, or instead of both of those, a friendliness of 5. If we go over to Mr. Collins, beauty of 2 and a friendliness of 2. Sorry, reputation of 2. Oops, that was not friendliness, that's reputation. Mr. Wickham just cares about dowry, so dowry of 2. Or if your character doesn't end up getting married at all, you get the old maid card, and you roll a dice to see how many points you end up with, which could be anywhere from 0 to 10 points. So, but yeah, and these orange cards, all kinds of things. You know, imagine anything that happens in the Pride and Prejudice novel. They are definitely represented in here. Various like you often have to roll a dice and see what you end up getting. It's generally sort of manipulating a lot of these character cards, these blue character cards. And everything. Sometimes there are some events in here that have to do with like elopements, or like maybe Mr. Darcy or Mr. Wickham or someone else will end up not being available at all because they have a surprise proposal or an elopement happens or something like that, right? Or scandal happens, and that can affect your character. So that's pretty much how marrying Mr. Darcy works. It's a lot of fun, and I imagine like if anyone's of the sort of like role playing game type, they can definitely lean into like acting or voicing as their character and stuff. So. This is a separate expansion called Emma, in which you replace the orange cards in Marrying Mr. Darcy with these. And this game, this plays pretty much very similarly, except the proposal stage is a little bit different to kind of coincide with how the Jane Austen novel Emma goes. But once again, you have all of these heroines here, along with all of these suitors and their various requirements, and then all of these orange event cards that you go through, basically. So, and also some cards with Emma for the Undead expansion, which anyway, so yeah, I have played, of course, the main game as well as the Emma expansion, and I think they're both fantastic. I haven't read either Pride and Prejudice or Emma, but I have definitely watched at least 2 film adaptations of each one, so I feel fairly familiar with each of the stories and just in general. And I would say that these games do a very good job of making you feel like you're playing the parts from these novels. Now, I have not played with this expansion yet. This is the Undead expansion, probably inspired by Pride and Prejudice and zombies or something. But so I don't know exactly how all this works, but I know that there are items. There is you can be cursed. There are different events and everything, just kind of to add a little bit of extra flavor and spice to whatever is going on in Pride and Prejudice. And of course, if you use the Emma expansion, there are some Undead expansion cards in there as well. So if you're a Jane Austen fan, this highly recommended. This is fantastic. So, but yeah, there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, all the best.